day is a party.
What? Classic animation is loaded with iconic characters. So much so that I'd say a majority of you have probably seen them growing up, at least if you were born in the 90s. Tom and Jerry, the Looney Tunes, just some examples to name a few. Obviously this leaves us with nostalgia for these characters. And in a time where nostalgia is a profit margin, these characters are not going away anytime soon. If you've kept up with any YouTuber who covers animation, they will probably have talked about the newer releases. The biggest one being Space Jam 2, probably the most shameless movie I've never seen. What? I just went off some videos I watched. I'm not paying to watch this. Regardless, it has given me a question to ask. Can classic animation characters or franchises work today?
No.
To help define what franchises we can use, we won't be using video game characters. So characters like Sonic and Mario won't be included. We're primarily focusing on cartoon franchises. We're also going to be avoiding shows like Transformers, so if it's designed for like toys and merchandising and all that, it won't be on this list. Or video, sorry. Basically the idea is we're focusing on characters designed to entertain. And for this video we're also going to be solely focusing on movies that try to adapt classic characters. And why they mostly always fail. Also because this trailer is infesting my feeds and I want it to die. And for anyone curious about shows, they usually land between mid and actually okay. But that's because the characters are in their intended environment, just short ventures. Or you could make the edgiest thing possible to a point that Shadow the Hedgehog 2005 is blushing. A company like Warner Bros. Isn't going to make a movie out of respect for the legacy of these characters, it's going to milk it for cash. Release the Acme Coyote movie, you fucking frauds! Illumination have also managed to fuck up characters from Dr Seuss, such as the infamous Lorax. A film about the environment that advertises gas-guzzling cars. Probably a shit ton of shitty merchandise as well. This movie is the definition of corporate hell. And I don't give a shit about Dr Seuss, so what does that say? So yeah, corporate greed. Big surprise, Morton dude. For some reason, people thought it was a good idea to take a classic animated character and make them live action. Oh Jesus, that CGI is horrid. Obviously if the show itself is human heavy, like... What did I just say? Human heavy. Heavy human. Heavy weapons guy. The point is, if there's a lot of humans already in it, then it makes sense with like something like Scooby-Doo, because, you know, they're all humans. You got a dog. But why Garfield and the Smurfs? They did it twice with the Smurfs. What? To give Scooby-Doo some credit, I think the casting works, but it does suffer from trying to pull a bit more edge off. Even with a film that tries to mix both live action and animation, it still struggles to capture the spirit of those characters. Whatever there was, they are just very basic characters to begin with anyway. Except Scooby-Doo somehow. Honestly, this film is the closest to being a good adaptation, CGI dogs aside. Another argument you could make is that bringing them into live action attracts the adult fans to see these movies, but what adult is dropping his money for the Smurfs? An argument Cartoon She made was that adults are embarrassed by watching animation in belief it's just for kids, which might be one of the factors to why these live action hybrids are incredibly common. But we're getting distracted, so let's talk about the next point. These characters were designed solely to entertain. They have straightforward sets of traits that help them distinguish themselves as characters, along with the plots being simplistic and appealing to general audiences. So they can end up struggling to work if you start to increase the complexity of the media they're in. Garfield is stupidly simplistic to the point that the movies are such a different pace from what you would expect, you get whiplash. Like the fat overweight cat is doing a breakdance for God's sake. And then we have Tom and Jerry. Think about it, in one movie they talked, made a story about some orphan, then they did a film about a person in a hotel. Not to mention this duo is designed purely for cartoony antics. And violence. Don't forget the violence. It's probably why they've been more successful in contained projects like shows, and even then they were struggling back in the 80s. Also, because of the more modern times, you can't really get away with shattering a cat's teeth in a film aimed at families. Other times, the characters are solely used as marketing ploys. This abomination of a trailer is just Rihanna singing with the Smurfs dancing over it. Like it's literally the worst thing I've seen for a trailer. Then I saw Shrek 5.
Ew, Dad!
The other problem is the fact that the so-called stars of the show can end up being overtaken by celebrity casting. And I don't mean like as voice actors, although I am getting annoyed that every fucking character is being voiced by the same like 5 people from Hollywood these days. Like, please, voice actors have talent, use it. Stop using fucking James Corden. But back to the point, Chris Pratt being Garfield is not the issue, it's when someone else takes over the entire film, pushing aside the characters you came for. Like, some films will invent a prominent character with parental issues who will learn something by the end of the movie. Or they could be Michael Jordan. Or worst case, they overtake the entire film to drive some weird plot. I guess I really should look into this film at some point. I generally think we have seen this work before. Honestly, The Grinch. No, the other Grinch. I think that film is a decent take on a classic character, even with the added edge. Too bad they burned it all down with the film afterwards.
Dirty hoe!
Again, trying to milk what works. Scooby-Doo, as I've said, could be viewed as a decent adaptation, even for its modern changes as well. Like, Fred is still the leader, Velma is still smart, Daphne is still a woman, and Shaggy is still high as fuck. But what exactly caused this whole shit show to start? Hang on, let me sit down and watch this as a reminder. If memory serves, I believe this is the first film to do the live-action CGI hybrid with classic characters. If I'm wrong, then whatever, no other film had a similar impact. Like, this made a lot of money and having classic characters tied to it probably helped. Not to mention, it's a good movie on its own. Now the key word is money, which is why these movies were made, and with a lot less care. Think about it, you make movies with all the classics. You got Daffy Duck, Donald Duck, Betty Boop. It's going to attract a lot of attention, especially in the 80s when this kind of thing was practically unheard of. Money rolls in, and then it gives companies the big ol' light bulb. Can classic characters return?
Influencer.
Smash that subscribe button!
No, probably not. But they'll keep coming back as long as these movies keep making money. Hell, why do you think Disney haven't stopped with these things? It's essentially the same principle. But hey, at least your favourite creators can whinge and moan about them for your pleasure. Me, I just wanted to vent about some really bad trailer and then it inspired the ramblings of this video. And also I like to say a lot about pointless crap, so thanks for being here this one. Now if you want me to go on about how not to adapt a character, well you best stay tuned for the next video. I am making a grave mistake.
We've got to have money.
Also, I am fully aware of the new Looney Tunes movie, and for initial thoughts it looks genuinely fun. But my point stands, for every good classic return like this, we're gonna get 30 influencer Smurfs. I hope whoever thought of him got fired.
That was absolutely terrifying!
James Corden is in this movie.
What? You fuckers! You fuckers!
You motherfucker, I will rain hellfire upon you!
And that's about the end of the video. This video is probably a lot more all over the place, but genuinely that trailer had me plagued whenever I looked at social media. The worst trailer I've seen that sums up everything wrong with trying to bring back classic characters. Anyway, thanks for watching.